weekend. Spend a lot of time soaking up the sun. Central and awesome. You motherfucking do that wrong. Yeah. Watching reruns, eating nachos, crashing couches, playing beer pong, throwing bottles, eating cocaine, lots of cocaine, golden tea, cruising downtown, kick the handshake, Power Rangers, paint the town from golden sausage, babies and chicks, Ninja Turtles, Italian beef. I don't know if they're ready. If they're sharing the link, they might be ready. Maybe they're ready for Wrestlezone. What's up, everybody? It's Kevin Kelm coming to you from the NBC Tower in downtown Chicago. Solo edition of Wrestlezone. Wrestlezone. You gotta get in that zone. Wrestlezone. Wrestlezone. Yes, so much to get into. A lot of news coming off NXT taking over WWE on SmackDown and Raw this week. Want to know what you guys thought of that? Got a lot of breaking news, but let's get right into it. Coming from the page of WrestleZone.com on the main page, the brother is back in the news, brother. Yeah, the biggest pythons in the world. We're talking about the big news from WWE's world, if you will. I wonder what their involvement or acknowledgement of this will be. But Hulk Hogan is going to have a biopic made of his career. This has been talked about for many, many years. The story was originally broken today by the Hollywood Reporter, so this is quite valid. So don't go saying, "Well, that's just a dirt sheet saying it." No, this is a legit thing here. All right, so you can just calm down, hold on with that though. And the big thing about this is that there's going to be a huge star attached to play Hulk. Who's going to play Hulk? That's a big question for something like that. And the person that's going to play him is Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor. This is a big role. According to Hollywood Reporter, Thor star Chris Hemsworth is set to represent Hulkamania, brother. Supposedly, it's set for a Netflix release, a Hulk Hogan biopic in the works, directed by Todd Phillips. You'll know him from producing the upcoming Joker movie and the Hangover movies. And it'll be written by Scott Silver and John Polano. Producing the film will be Hemsworth with former WCW boss Eric Bischoff. The film won't look at Hogan's entire life. Instead, it'll look at his early days and his rise to the top of professional wrestling. Hogan himself will be acting as consultant and executive producer, brother. All right. Are you looking forward to this? What do you think? I want to know what you guys think of this movie. A pretty big star to be cast as Hulk Hogan, too. And it's a lot to think of what this is going to be. I wonder what it means for Hulk in the greater sense of things in WWE. Obviously, with the scandals and different things with him outside of wrestling, it's been questioned as to whether or not he'll be greeted back in the good graces of WWE. Saw him at Crown Jewel, and that's the last time we saw him, and that was also announced minutes before it happened, I believe. It was not a long thing there, So the WWE's been reportedly trepidatious about when Hulk Hogan will be out there, though they sell T-shirts and different things like that. And there's many other people that say that he shouldn't be greeted warmly with wrestling. He should not be there. And then we saw him on Raw when he got to wish a fond farewell to Mean Gene Okerlund. And I think under the circumstances, a lot of people were okay with that. Some other people weren't. Some people still have not forgiven Hulk. But this movie's going to get made. It's going to be a Netflix release. Netflix is getting bigger and bigger into doing their own original content. You're going to see this with a lot more movies. But I want to know what you guys think. This is an interesting question from Patrick Bagden. Good old buddy, Pat. Thanks, Pat. He wants to know who's going to play Andre the Giant. I think they're going to have to CGI Andre. We're going to get a computer-generated Andre, maybe Maybe the Hulk. Maybe they'll get the Hulk to play Andre. I don't know how you would do that. Aaron Getchell says, only if Hulk plays Thor, less well-known uncle. Yeah, that's the payoff. Is like Hulk Hogan gets to be in an Avengers movie and be like, come on, brother. I can be in Asgard. Get the worms out there. It was a little bit more Macho Man than Hulk Hogan. That's okay. I would be into that. Chris Hemsworth doesn't have them 24-inch pythons. Well, he's got big arms. Chris Hemsworth certainly has the body for this, I would say. People want to know who's going to play Macho Man Randy Savage. We're already casting the movie, and also how much wrestling are these guys going to do in the movie? You can't have, Chris Hemsworth. He's certainly known for doing some action roles. So I would assume he's going to embrace the physicality of the role that calls for. Derek Johnson, not feeling all, could care less about Hulk Hogan. Doesn't feel it, Morning from England. Thank you so much. I love all the international viewers. Who's going to play Vince McMahon? There's that always been that about year and a half now. There's been talk of Pandemonium, a biopic based on Vince McMahon, and Bradley Cooper attached to that, but that hasn't really moved on there. Of course, our friends over at the Wrestlezone News Desk are saying Big Show's got to play Andre the Giant. You know what? Of all the people that could physically do it, that'd be all right. Put a curly haired wig on Big Show. Have him come out to be Andre. Speaking of Andre, check out this T-shirt. I love this shirt. I got to show this off. Can I get the camera to show this off? All right. This is my from Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. All right. Great podcast. If you guys have ever seen it, or we're talking about Andre. This is their Ghost of Andre the Giant T-shirt. All right. So Andre the Giant on their show, on their podcast, is a very funny character. They have the Ghost of Andre the Giant. And Andre comes on and says, no, baby, oh! Hulk Hogan, and very, very funny stuff. So go check them out. Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling, a very delightful podcast. I listen to it every single week. Up to the buddies. There we go. But I think it's entertaining in the sense of just saying who would play these roles and who would portray all this stuff. David Johnson saying Black Machismo Jay Lethal should be Randy Savage. Yeah. Who's going to be Jimmy Hart, baby? Jordy Nolan is texting in, wants to know who's going to be Jimmy Hart. That would be, I'm sorry, that's just a fun voice. It is fun to say this. Who's going to be Mean Gene? It's fun to cast this. Who is the actor? I feel so bad. Who's the actor that was in Sideways? He was in Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie. I feel so silly. His voice. Do you ever have this where you have him on the tip of your tongue and you know who you're going to be talking about, and then you can't say the name of it? I'm gonna have to IMDb it right now, and I feel really, really stupid saying this. Oh man, Paul Giamatti is who I think should be to be the voice. Has to have the baritone voice to play Mean Gene Okerlund. I would love to see that. Yes, no baby oil and Jeet. Chris Pratt needs to play Shane McMahon. Jimmy Hart never ages. Yeah, Jimmy Hart has aged pretty well. So that's the story from WrestleZone.com. We have a couple other big stories there as well at WrestleZone.com that I want to check out and throw up for you here. I want to pull this one up here in a second. A lot of changes with Monday Night Raw this week. Reported the show rewritten the afternoon of, and the NXT superstars and their matchups were shaken up day of. Reported they were going to do Finn Balor versus Ricochet. And someone kiboshed that coming from the Wrestling Observer. Also, with all that shakeup, it's got to think of what does that mean? Does that mean these guys are called up? Does that mean this was like a one-day thing? It feels like a really big shakeup, just about 6 weeks out from WrestleMania. I want to know what you guys think of it. Let me know what you think. I was overall, I thought SmackDown got a better shine of those guys. I thought last night's SmackDown was just thumbs up. The biggest pop of the night for those NXT stars was Aleister Black. I think his entrance, that rising from the crowd, it's something a mainstream audience who's never seen him before is like, ooh, they would be into that. I really enjoyed that. I also thought the showing of the Bar versus Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa was very exciting, though it does cause a lot of issues because it seemed like the track record we're going on the NXT side was going to be Gargano versus Ciampa, one final blow off in this 2-year long drawn out thing. And now here they are tagged together. It reminded me of when they pulled up the Basham brothers from Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was, many moons ago, many 10 plus years ago, was WWE's developmental territory. And they pulled up the Basham brothers, and they were the two arch rival figures in Ohio Valley Wrestling. And then they got pulled up to the main roster on SmackDown, and they were a tag team. So it caused some issues. Now, are they being pulled up as a tag team? No, because they were still called Gargano and Ciampa and all these different things. And they referenced it a little bit, and they still reference it. These, one guy's the North American champion, one guy's the NXT champion. But I wonder what it does for the NXT takeover route. And we'll kind of have a better figure of what that's going to be after tonight's tapings. We're also supposed to get a big NXT announcement tonight. We got a big 205 Live announcement last night. And that'll be a cruiserweight tournament, just like we got last year, right after Enzo was out of the picture, to crown a new cruiserweight champion. Ended up being Cedric Alexander defeating Mustafa Ali last year. Now, if you're on the 205 Live side and you follow the show, it is a small audience, but it's a dedicated one. We do hear from them. And I got to think that this is a good thing, but who are those guys? 205 Live is John Pollock. I'll borrow it from postwrestling.com. His quote, "It's the white noise of wrestling." It's great wrestling. But is it not getting the response it needs in front of those big mainstream audiences? It's really an alternative project in the same way that NXT was. Would the show do better at Full Sail University or in front of smaller, more diehard audiences? It's not to say regular fans don't care. It's they come for their certain stars that they like. They watch SmackDown, they come for that guy, and that's it. And they just watch the pay-per-view. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with just having your favorites. You don't have to embrace all of it. But overall, really, really strong episode of SmackDown in terms of just continuing that randomness that we felt like we had Raw. SmackDown felt like it had more of a trajectory, like everything was kind of laid out and it was tighter. Good show. And we're also getting Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Fastlane, riding on the tide there. That was another thing that kind of changed the course. Mustafa Ali got hurt. A lot of people thought he would be the guy for WWE going into the season to get Daniel Bryan ready for WrestleMania, get him all amped up. Doesn't seem like we're going to get that. You're getting Kofi Kingston, a guy that fans have known for many, many years. And now here he is, set to be in a big title program. The word still is that Kofi Kingston will not be slotted for a match at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. And there's a wide open array of different characters that could take on Daniel Bryan for that WWE Championship, which will not be one of the top matches. It'll be certainly near the top, though, but it won't be one of the top. That's where we got right now as well. Do want to pull up some other big stories we got at WrestleZone.com. I want to follow this one up with you. Want to know what you guys think of The Undertaker appearing at StarCast. All right. Now, this has been known for quite some time that he's going to do this, just about a week now. And I'll pull the story up here, have it on the screen. Undertaker is set to appear for StarCast, an event that is separate from WWE and, of course, is partnered with All Elite Wrestling, which WWE is clearly keeping an eye on in terms of recruiting people, retaining talent, and signing talent. We'll get more into that in a little bit. Now, The Undertaker has been openly taking outside bookings from WWE for appearances, autograph signings, things of that sort, with a very high reported rate to appear at that. He will appear at StarCast, $150, I believe, is what it costs for that appearance. And you get to meet him, get some autographs and all the great stuff. Good kudos to Conrad Thompson and his team at StarCast. They do a great job attending their events last year. They do a really good job of making these things special and operating them really well. Benjamin A. Jones saying The Undertaker does what he wants. He does. He's The Undertaker. He can do what he wants. But The Undertaker reportedly, may have upset some people. That may have shook some people in WWE, according to Dave Meltzer. But Jim Ross kind of has a take on it here. Recently, on the Two-Man Power Trip podcast, he went on to say, "I don't see it as a sign of anything changing or he's branching out or going to start wrestling because he's not going to wrestle anywhere else. I can guarantee it." The former WWE commentator said, "I can see him doing appearances to sign his name and take pictures in the way he's done as the Undertaker / Mark Calloway for legal purposes as far as the WWE being publicly traded company, the Undertaker IP intellectual property being one of the assets." He added that the money Taker is making is good, and it's really just an extra source of income for an aging worker. It's not a critical deal. It's not a big story breaking here, the tip of the iceberg. I can see something here in that regard. I know that he's getting, from what I understand, he's getting real offers to go in and sit down and sign his name. So I mean, when you're getting real offers and real money, maybe that's just the case, So I mean, to some people, this isn't a story, but this kind of calms the waters of, is he gonna do a match for All Elite Wrestling? I don't know. He's not gonna do a match. I don't see The Undertaker wrestling anywhere else except WWE, especially at this point in his career and how attached he is to that specific character that is so, in so many people's eyes, special, and Dave Johnson saying this, The Undertaker is bigger than the WWE now. He can go anywhere. I don't know if he's bigger than the WWE. I honestly don't know if anyone's bigger than WWE. That's okay. It's okay to say that. I think it'll be special for fans to have this type of appearance outside of WWE. I think that's what's unique about it. And I wonder what appearances he'll be doing for WWE around WrestleMania. He was on that list of reported opponents for Daniel Bryan, possibly for the WWE Championship. We talked about it early on the podcast this week. Is that something fans want to see? Is it a match that excites people? I would be into it, but I know it wouldn't be a full-fledged battle between Daniel Bryan and The Undertaker. Chris Cornett saying, I met him at Comic-Con in Chicago, paid $300 for VIP, which is a professional photo and autograph. Super nice and very appreciative. So some people enjoying that. In terms of the road to WrestleMania Fastlane, they bring up this one. Nick Basson saying, Mustafa Ali needs to come out and beat the crap out of Kofi and Daniel Bryan. The story is shot, supposed to be mine. That's him going heel. It's him going heel. I don't know if that's going to happen there. I don't see Mustafa Ali coming back and healing up on anybody. I see him coming back and getting a good response. Hopefully he can heal up and get back into the road to WrestleMania. This is a guy who definitely would have been slotted for something big on the biggest show of the year. As a young talent, that would have been a big and special thing for him. In terms of other things we have going on at WrestleZone.com, if you enjoy the show on Facebook, get our podcast. This week we just put up an interview with Rob Van Dam talking about his brand new documentary, Headstrong. A lot of stuff there. He talks about the possibility of, is he interested in All Elite Wrestling? And, of course, his big match with Impact Wrestling in April, the week of WrestleMania in Rahway, New Jersey. We get into all of it. Very intriguing. If you've ever enjoyed Rob Van Dam, I have a 30-minute conversation with him that you can listen to on our podcast feed and read up about that at our website. Also, Jim Cornette in the podcast feed as well. Very entertaining stuff from him. He talks about boiling wrestlers he doesn't like in oil and turning their fat into soap. Pretty ridiculous. But all of this stuff is certainly crazy. I'm getting ready for the screening tonight of Fighting With My Family, the WWE movie that they did with MGM and $7 Productions. This is the Rock's production company. And of course, it's all about the life of Paige. You've heard WWE promoting it quite a bit. The reviews for it are very, very strong at the moment. Pulling up Rotten Tomatoes here in a second. I believe the last time I checked, it was around 92%. So that's a really good Rotten Tomato score going into your opening weekend. 93% is kind of what I'm seeing right now. And Rotten Tomatoes is a pretty good source for movies. The consensus from Rotten Tomatoes is much like the sport, it celebrates. Fighting With My Family muscles past cliches with a potent blend of energy and committed acting that should leave audiences cheering. That's pretty good. It's not too bad. Looking around the horn here as well. The LA Times enjoyed it. The Associated Press gave it a good review. New York Times gave it a good review. So a lot of people have given this some strong reviews. And so what do you think of it? A lot of people are kind of like, oh, whatever. It's a WWE movie. Some of those movies are good. Some of those movies are bad. I'm open-ended about this. Stephen Merchant, who is handling this as the director and also plays a small role in the movie, has done some really, really funny stuff. I believe he did a fun comedic show on HBO. He has a good sense of humor. The Rock is in it. It's supposed to be about the Knight family, which is a very unique family in wrestling. This is Paige's family. They run WAW and have basically been one of the figureheads of independent wrestling in England and the UK for many decades now. And Paige was risen from that family and become a very prominent star. Even if she's not wrestling anymore, I still think she's somebody that people have a response to and have an affiliation with in terms of their fandom and dedication. She's been through a lot of stuff outside of wrestling, which a lot of people talk about here. And I was disappointed when people just started to talk crap about the movie because it's not going to have all the, what about the stuff with Del Rio and the tape leaking, the sex tape scandal and all this different. Why? Why do we have to do that? The story that's so much more interesting for her, that's so much more intriguing, that is the reason you are a wrestling fan, is watching that passionate moment and someone chase their dream and get it. But people want to talk crap. It's so infuriating. Because it doesn't add anything. It doesn't develop anything. It's just like the same way with we want an invasion. We want an invasion every week. Well, where does the invasion go? This is a story that has fulfillment. You are fulfilled. It is sustaining. That's the way I say it. James Ross says Paige's life has always been interesting. I can't wait to see it. Jumping into your questions here. You guys want some questions? Let's fire them off here. Share the link. We'll get a couple more questions going here in a little bit. Want more people to join the chat here. And we'll get the show going in a little bit. But in terms of this Fighting With My Family, I'm excited for it. I will have more thoughts on the movie after I see it tonight. and I'll pass it on. And I do have to run over to the theater in just a little bit. But we'll do our Q&A coming up just next. I do want to talk about this, though. WrestleMania is coming up. We're about 6 weeks out. I'm trying to settle in on my plans for doing something in the New York, New Jersey area with Wrestlezone fans. Is this something that you guys would be into? All right. If you're listening to the podcast or you're watching the show later and you're not watching it live, I want to know what you think. If you're watching it live, let me know what you think. Hit me up on socials at Kev Kellum. If you guys hit me up there, I will kind of interact with you guys and see what works for everyone and what day we can do it and all those different things. A lot to do to figure out there. Ben Cliff from the UK saying, I met Paige's brother, Zach. Really cool guy. After a mad match, he came and spoke to the fans and was in the crowd for nearly an hour. That's interesting, man. I enjoy how people who have that dedication to the craft are still like, people are here. I got to say hi to them. I got to do the right thing. All right, let's just jump right into your questions, guys. Whatever you think. John Fiore says, whatever happened to the U.S. champion R-Truth? Ever since he won, he has disappeared. Here's the thing. I don't think everyone needs to be on TV every week. I think NXT has kind of taught us this. Not everyone needs to be on television every week. Asuka wasn't on TV for nearly a month after the Rumble, and everyone's like, "Oh, where is she? Where is she?" She was on Raw. She was on SmackDown last night. A match that left people talking. A lot of people were not happy with the finish. Mandy Rose won. It wasn't a particularly great match. It was the softest part of SmackDown, which isn't good for Asuka because she hasn't been on TV in a while. But she certainly got a reaction when she was out there. And she cut this promo. Hey, I tapped out Becky. I beat Becky and Charlotte at TLC. I want to know who's next. Mandy comes out, cheats and wins. Lacey comes out, does a walk-in. So it's kind of shake up there. In terms of R-Truth, though, I don't know where that guy would figure into having a singles match at WrestleMania. If he's a comedy character and they're going to have him still doing dance breaks and different things like that, that's not bad. But there's so much shake-up in the mid-card in WWE. I think the top of the card is kind of set. The lower end guys kind of know where they're going to be, but the middle is shifting so much when you have, stories like this one. Want to get into this? Ty Dillinger today has reportedly posted and been very open about this, that he is asking for his release. Went on social media, said it. This is a guy who's been in the mid card for WWE for 2-3 years now, since calling up from the main from the NXT roster. And had a handful of big matches that left people talking on SmackDown side, but nothing truly beyond that. And had a couple angles, but nothing that caught on beyond the 10 chant. And here he is saying, hey, I appreciate the run here. I feel I have done everything I can here. I appreciate wrestlers, the coaches, the producers, the production crew, everybody, but I need to do something else. I need to change my career. So is he going to do that outside of WWE? And obviously everyone's like, you're going to All Elite. You're going to All Elite. You got to go to All Elite. You have to be an All Elite. And I would say that's the obvious one where you could see him, but where would you see him going? Where would you see him going? I would love to think what you guys think. All Elite Wrestling is obvious, but I think he'll do a run of big independent dates. He's a Canadian guy. I could see him doing some big stuff with Smash Wrestling. And if he's a Canadian guy, maybe he's lured over to the Impact Wrestling side. I could see this guy going in Impact Wrestling and being a big star for them right away. Also, Impact has some money. They have some money that people don't know about that they're spending. And I think they're due to get a big signing, to get a big free agent. Now, if he does get his release, it isn't clear if he's been released or not. He's asked for it. So he put this word out there before it kind of got out. So he put the story out himself. It hasn't been confirmed whether or not he's been released by the company. So maybe he stays in WWE. Maybe they just ice his contract. Dean Ambrose has the same thing. He's not going to re-sign a deal. So the company said it. All right, before this story gets out and people run with it, here's what it is. James Ross saying maybe he's going to be the next U.S. champion. Yeah, because reportedly the Revival asked for the release, and less than a month later, they're the Raw Tag Team Champions. The Usos reportedly asked for a release, and then they got the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. People said the Perfect 10 should go to NXT UK. Who knows? If he's still getting your downside, man, I wouldn't complain about it here. So it's pretty out there. David Johnson jumping into questions here. Fire them off. Do you think Daniel Bryan's title might be a segue to bring back the old school WWE Championship, the way they did the Intercontinental title? People who are belt marks are really into this, like what the belt looks like And is it the white leather one? Is it the winged eagle belt? Is it this belt? I think just a cool, regal-looking black and leather gold belt with some good jewelry on it is not a bad road to go down. I think the new belt is hideously ugly. I just don't like it. I boo it. I boo it as a fan. I boo it. It must be booed. And if it was a ghost, I would boo at it. Yes, I don't like it, but that's the idea. You're not supposed to like it. I don't like the new Daniel Bryan. I like my old Daniel Bryan, but I think the new Daniel Bryan is certainly entertaining. You can't deny that he's entertaining, to say the least. Cut another good promo this week on Raw. Fire for questions as well, and continue to see everything going on over at Wrestlezone.com. Over there, we also have news about Raw ratings came out. They are up. Showbuzz Daily reporting the viewership soared for this week's with an average of 2.7. This is up from 2.4. That's a huge overall increase. Impressively, first hour show wound up having 3 million viewers. This week's show featured several top stars from NXT, headlined by Ronda Rousey in a title match against Ruby Riott. What did you think? Really, really strong numbers. Want to know the 7-day numbers here as well. Want to know what those 7-day numbers could be. I think a lot of times when we have ratings, we tend not to get those 7-day around numbers. That includes DVR numbers, a full gamut of streaming more too. If you considered YouTube streaming in terms of just the clips, if you had the individual clips like from that show, that week's show compiled together, because it's non-linear, people don't watch it. A lot of people, millions watch it live, but a lot of people watch it within like 12 hours of it airing. A lot of times I find myself watching Raw. I'll watch part of it live. I have to go out and do an open mic, and then I find myself watching the rest either in YouTube clip form as I get home, or that Tuesday morning as I'm prepping for you guys in these shows. I kind of see that. So strong number for them. Big question, Brendan Harris. Do you think Kofi Kingston gets a title reign? I don't know. I think he gets a title program, and for a guy like him who's been 11 years in the business, that's a successful thing already. I think him just getting a main event for the title, win or lose. I do think Daniel Bryan wins this match at Fastlane. But if they get you to think Kofi Kingston could win the title like they did at Elimination Chamber, they've won, and you got a good wrestling match. That's another thing people forget. Like, if you get a good match, have you been defeated? No. You got a good performance. You got a good story. You got close. Hunger. Oh, so close. And that's, I think, Kofi Kingston's crowning moment, if it does happen this year, may not happen at WrestleMania. There's a lot of big moments, I think, that are in store for WrestleMania, whether it be a John Cena thing, whether it be a Ronda Rousey, Becky, Charlotte thing, which is the selling point of the show at this point, whether it be a Rollins, Lesnar. There's a lot of other stuff there. So Kofi Kingston getting a big moment, maybe. You can only have so many big moments at WrestleMania, even though it's like a 7-hour show or whatever. People saying they're talking belts, talking about the old classic belts and wish they would bring back all these different belts. James Ross, are there reports true of the New Day breaking up? Well, that's just more speculation. Those aren't really reports. It's something that people certainly lead to in terms of what you would do with Kofi Kingston if he's not going to be the champion. Well, then break up the New Day and have a feud between them. I don't know. I really, really don't know. There's no validity to it. They certainly move a lot of merchandise. And that's something that WWE pays attention to. If you move merchandise, WWE's listening. And it's something they've done for quite a bit. People love to see a triple threat by all three guys. But here's the thing. You see the way they're portrayed on television. I thought at the end of Elimination Chamber, that was a part of me. Oh, they're doing this really long walkout segment where, Xavier and Big E are with Kofi, and they're gonna put their arm around him. And are we getting the turn? Like that was the thing everyone was thinking, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I think you could do something with them breaking up down the line, but I don't think you need to burn all these big built up moments that could be something at WrestleMania. That's something I think you could do after WrestleMania and could be a great program that people could pay attention to in the hangover period of WrestleMania. That would be interesting. So, do you think Rousey will retire after WrestleMania like it's been a rumor? Alberto Jose Gomez. Alberto, thank you for joining the show. I haven't seen you before. I would say everyone's saying that she's going to retire. She's going to go away. She's not retiring. I think the reports of her wanting to leave WWE are all over the place. She's under contract. The company said it. I don't know why everyone forgets that. She's under contract through 2021, 2022 maybe, and is contracted through April of that year. You're going to get big moments with her before that's done. If she wants to leave WWE and take some time off, I think she's more than willing to do it and deserves it. Anyone who questions Rousey and whether or not she was dedicated to WWE, she's not a Brock Lesnar. She's on TV all the time. She's having violent matches. She's doing some really, really serious wrestling. Has she made some mistakes on air? Sure. But this is somebody who's so good at wrestling right away, like within a very, very quick period. You cannot deny how quickly she's taken to this and had also the best match at WrestleMania last year in her debut. How quickly people forget those things and want to come down on her and say, oh, she sucks. She's not Becky. She sucks. Calm down. Really, your memory is short when you're probably the same people who are like, Rousey's the best. Why don't they make Rousey? And then 9 months later, Becky Lynch rises up the card and suddenly your tune changes. Come on now. Yes, Bob Cookhouse. Yes, there was talk that she wanted to go away and have some children. This is something she's talked about in her web content that she puts out on her own YouTube. And then there was also reports that she would be a part of the next season of Total Divas. You know, so would that be a way to keep her on television and have her on Total Divas while she's not in the ring? Possibly. Yeah, that kind of figures out. But it's not for sure. Nothing is for sure. So many things get reported and people run with them as fact, and it's not fact. Facts are facts. The sky is blue. Fire is hot. You know, wrestling has rumors, but it doesn't mean they're facts. Daniel Couture saying The Rock coming back anytime soon. Roman Reigns, maybe. I won't answer the Roman Reigns thing because he's dealing with a very, very serious health issue. I wouldn't know about Roman Reigns. The Rock, I think if The Rock was coming back, we would have a better idea of that happening. Though the surprise of Rock showing up seems likely. You know, we had NXT call-ups now. We have a lot of different things on Raw that are going in different directions because of the holdover of we're going to rest Rollins. We're going to rest him. We're not going to have him on TV nearly as much. So you're the NXT guys to make this interesting. Let's build up that NXT program for casual viewers to kind of see our hardcore brand that we have there. All right, so that's kind of where I see this. By the way, I don't think those guys are getting a full-time call-up. I think that was just an example of, hey, look at these guys. The Rock, though, it's interesting he's not on WWE television if he's producing this movie. I would think that he would be, but who knows? The Rock getting cleared to wrestle is a hard thing. There's insurance issues with different movies he does. I know he cleared up his recent Fast and the Furious movie, but he has so many different things in the can. I know the window for him to have matches is shorter than it was a few years ago, physically, in terms of what he would want to do in the ring and what he stated he would want to do in the ring. He said he would want to do it, but how can he figure that into everything else he's doing? You know, this is the biggest movie star, one of the biggest producers in the world, got an NBC TV show, got a lot of different things he's got going on here. Love all of your comments here. All they are going to do is make Tunein happy. Don't know exactly what you're referencing there. But getting in more questions here. Justin Chook saying Kofi win at Fastlane is not going to happen. It's a wasted title reign because Daniel will have Mania. Well, Daniel Bryan with the title at Mania against somebody, I think is bigger. I think having giving a title change away at Fastlane isn't ideal. You did a lot of title changes, by the way, on the Elimination Chamber show. People didn't notice that. I mean, they're talking about it now 2 days later. Certainly Finn Balor getting the title was exciting and cool, and hopefully he'll have something in the mid-card area that's good. But it's also a sign of just WWE's talent depth through the roof right now. Ty Dillinger is a hot talent you could do something with, but gets lost in the shuffle. So it's where these things kind of happen here. The Rock usually makes a cameo at WrestleMania, just like Stone Cold. Yeah, I think a cameo for him would be entertaining. James Espanto, The Rock versus Triple H one more time. Well, James, whether or not Triple H can get cleared to wrestle with his pec tear is unsure. If Triple H does get in the ring at WrestleMania this year, it would be with Dave Bautista. And it doesn't seem like that match is going to happen due to Triple H's health. Dave has been in talks with that. He's been very open that the match he would want one more match. That's how he would round out his wrestling career, would be with Triple H at WrestleMania. Biggest possible payday, biggest possible stage. They also set it up in October. I don't know if Triple H and The Rock, I know they did something on TV like a year and a half ago just to taste it, see if people wanted it. And people kind of popped and were into it. Jose Gonzalez saying, what up, Big Kev? Heading to the NXT taping now. What's going on, man? Jose, give me the lowdown there. Check out his show, Reekins of Wrestling, on Facebook if you guys want to see some things that are going on with him there. Are we going to get a gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania? No, you're going to get a battle royal. You're going to get two of them. You're going to get a lot of battle royals with the guys who can't get a singles match. Battle royals in the bathroom, battle royals, and we're going to get the battle royal at the merch booth. We're going to get so many battle royals. A battle royal with cheese. Benjamin A. Jones, are they going to do Lashley versus Lesnar? This is something WWE has referenced lightly, but enough where you can feel a little bit of the blood in the water for the Sharks. A Lashley versus Lesnar match at Fastlane would be a real attraction, even with Lashley losing or just it being a car crash match. Lesnar's last few matches have been with smaller talents, but his matches with big people are big box office. Lashley's match with Goldberg was big business. Lesnar's match with Goldberg and that whole feud was very big business for WWE. Lashley can be a big monster and get to that point, but I want to know, do they need Leo Rush in there? They did a lot of wishy-washy booking with him. Would Leo Rush just suddenly, for whatever reason, stay there now going into that? I mean, dropping Leo Rush and having him be his manager and turn on Elimination Chamber. I don't know. There's a lot of creative decisions they did with Lashley recently that don't make me feel, he's going to have a title program. I mean, if Lesnar's sticking around after WrestleMania, maybe that's where you go. But you got to do something. You got to do more with Lesnar, obviously on TV before WrestleMania. If it's a match at Fastlane, maybe that's a way to do it. The ball is all over the place. Though on paper these things are exciting, and in execution maybe they're all over the place. Like this week with Raw, people thought these NXT call-ups, I can't keep my head spinning. This Lafayette, Louisiana crowd, they're not popping. So what are you gonna do? Daniel J.R. Zamorano asks, what do I think of AEW? Well, we've talked about it quite a bit. All Elite Wrestling, I think, is a game changer. As we've stated over the past few months in the show, it's a big game changer for wrestling. There's a lot of new money, big time money injected in. These are real players. The Young Bucks recently did an interview with the Sporting News. Brian Fritz, big up to him, between the ropes and all his work. And they laid out their ideas of what they want their television show to look like. And I think the way they're talking about it is they're doing smart things. They're doing different formatic things. They would want a show that's 1 to 2 hours, definitely not 3 like Raw. They want a show that's live, So they were generalizing, but they weren't, open about it. You have creative minds that want to do things a traditional way in wrestling, but also don't want to do things that are played out. So I think there's enough there for them to go in that direction and present something different. And that's another thing. They have to present something different, but they have to present something that's legit. It's something that TNA / Impact always had an issue with. How do we feel like WWE, but not WWE? And then you kind of border on becoming like them or not, creatively in terms of presentation. And Tony Khan, his appearance on Talk is Jericho last week, very intriguing. He talked about the production values have to be real. It has to look big time, as I mentioned that. And I agree with that. But the buck stops with him, to lack of a better phrase. I mean, Young Bucks, Cody, they're all on board. Kenny Omega's there now. So you have that trifecta of the elite guy, that four corners of the elite thing there that people love. But it stops with Tony Khan. He's a non-wrestling guy, very successful guy in sports and analytics. And, you do sports, you can do presentation, you can figure out TV deals, you can figure out live TV timing, all those different things. You can recruit the talent, you understand how to manage them a little bit better, but wrestling is a different animal. I'm not saying Tony Khan isn't capable. I think he is. Another thing is, it's a game changer in the sense of everyone thinks, now it's competition with WWE. I don't think they're going to compete with WWE. They're competing with WWE outside of the actual television product. They're competing with WWE in terms of who's a free agent, who can get signed, who's available, who's out there. As WWE is going out and picking off more people, this was bound to happen because WWE understood independent wrestling is bigger. The consumption of more wrestling by a dedicated audience is there, and they saw that with the network. And All Elite Wrestling and their television product has seen that. The television deals that WWE got were representative of that. So wrestling is hot. It's just not as big as it once was. And so All Elite Wrestling coming into the market right now is exciting. It's a great time for them to do it with a lot of talents that people are excited and they're following. But it can't compete with WWE. If they try to go head-to-head with WWE, I don't think they're going to do that. If they get with a TV partner that wants them to do that, then they're with the wrong TV partner. This has to be an alternative. It has to be the big alternative. It has to do things that Impact Wrestling has gotten close to or has done a little bit, and then more. So that's the way I see it. And it'll be fun to watch. I was at All In. It was a special show. It was one of the best wrestling shows I've been to in my life. I've been to a lot of great WrestleManias and stuff like that. And I would put that right up there with it. Nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with having choices either. So you can choose, you don't have to eat pizza every night. Sometimes you can get Chinese. That helps. Christopher Weaver saying that RVD interview was great, by the way. Thank you, Christopher. If you guys haven't checked it out, a lot of fun stories with Rob Van Dam. Him talking about being in All Japan, his chemistry with Sabu going into this match against the Lucha Brothers. He also says that the Lucha Brothers are going to eat chairs. I was like, oh boy, I don't think you can physically eat chairs. Maybe you put some sauce on it. You can cut it up into pieces. I mean, swallowing a whole steel chair, I don't know how that's physically possible. Okay, I kind of took that a little bit too literally here. John Blaine saying, could you see All Elite Wrestling hold an event at Madison Square Garden or the Staples Center? Well, they're running MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and it sold out very, very quickly. And their brand is so associated with these big destination events now as they're kind of just getting ready for television. Also, there's a lot of branding things that are just known by fans talking, which is helpful. But they need to establish their own names and their own things. So going into MSG in the Staples Center, maybe they could do it. MSG, which used to be WWE's home ground stadium, is in the New York area. Clearly not, maybe. I know they'll continue to do live events there, but they're not going to do TV. And that's the main reason why the Barclays Center is being used in Brooklyn. So All Elite Wrestling coming in there, the way that ROH and New Japan are going to do the night before WrestleMania, would be exciting. Staples Center, I think, would be out of the league. I think they would go to the Forum in LA. And it would be a much more alternative play for them. Staples Center seems like it's locked into WWE. That's kind of the words and things that I hear. Getting to more of your questions, Shane Palmquist wants to go, is Rusev just burying himself on purpose with his tweets about Ty and Kofi, etc. as of late? Rusev, he's hot, he's cold. He's like the Katy Perry song. The guy had the United States Championship going into January, and now he doesn't. It's all over the place with him. I think he's a guy you can always just fire up and get him on TV. But I also think, once again, it's what's good for a TV show. Cramming a bunch of people on TV that don't connect. They're whatever they're presenting, whatever they're performing doesn't get over. It's okay. There's some guys. Sorry, some guys are going to be on the bench. This is the issue that WWE has, and I think he's kind of in that position. Keating Grass wants to know, what's my favorite WWE event that I've ever attended? Well, I'm a fan, obviously, and I report on it, and I kind of bring in all the notes for WrestleZone and different things like that. So sometimes it's hard, especially in the last few years, to just take off that hat and let myself enjoy things. But I've been to a few WrestleManias. They're all spectacular. I think going to a WrestleMania as a wrestling fan is a must. I think it's an absolute must because you got to give yourself, I'm trying to figure out like 4 days for New York, New Jersey. I went to New Orleans last year. I think I did it in like 2 or 3. I wanted one more because it's the whole experience of it, and being around that many wrestling fans is special. And the show itself is special. Those performances are special. Those matches are memorable. WrestleManias are special to me. I went to WrestleMania 22. It wasn't the best WrestleMania, but I'll still remember being in the 100 level, the Allstate Arena, and the image, the flash of fire when Edge speared Mick Foley through a table at WrestleMania 22. I vividly remember that. Same arena, Money in the Bank 2011, CM Punk versus John Cena. The electricity in that arena is amazing and special. It's very, very special. So I can't deny that at all. So I would say those 2 shows for sure. People already want different stuff going to St. Louis. They want to go all around the world with all these different things here. I want to get more into questions here. Want to go up with this. Shane Palmquist, just Andrade retire, Mysterio, Mania, and Ray goes in the Hall of Fame, and the WWE 2K thing, and Warrior and Goldberg in it. You're running off here. Andrade Cien Almas featured last night on television. Lost to Aleister Black. A little awkward for Selena Vega there. She's in ringside. She's married to Aleister Black, but of course manages Andrade. I think Andrade will have something at WrestleMania. Some people have speculated that he'll have a match with Rey Mysterio for a huge bash of the 2 big Latino superstars, but they've had great matches on TV. Haven't seen Rey Mysterio in a few weeks. Would love to see him though. Not sure what they're going to do with him there, but he'll have something there. In terms of people eating chairs, Bob Cookout saying chairs, dip them in ranch. Ew, ranch? Don't like ranch. I'm a barbecue man. All right, guys, I'm going to hop out of here. I got to run over to the AMC River East for tonight. And I got to hit up the screening of Fighting With My Family. Follow me on socials and follow everything at Wrestlezone.com. We got a lot going on there. I will see you tomorrow right here, right around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, a little bit of an earlier show today. Thank you so much for your support of everything at WrestleZone. And remember, please enjoy wrestling.